remember I read this book by Hannah Wall called Bound by Creativity. And in that book, she really brilliantly kind of details the history of how the series became a thing. You know, this idea that you find something that you're like apt at, or just some sort of working template, and then for the rest of your life, you just proceed to make iterations of that same thing over and over and over. There's a very real kind of silver lining there, and that's that through iteration, I've actually come up with like some pretty different and unique for me ways of kind of expressing this series. As much as I love working expansively, I think that sometimes can come at the risk of maybe working superficially. And so revisiting this body of work is just kind of a way of continuing to flesh out through iteration more of what I feel is valuable. I think that the painting that I'm most attached to is this one. It's called Practice Makes Purrfect number 13. It's the most accurately, directly translated small study to big painting. Removing some of the realism to create distance between the viewer and what could potentially be offensive subject matter. While I associate myself or identify with the athlete in these paintings, I also identify with the cat. Like any athlete, you know, you experience wins and losses, and although, you know, a bad day of painting is not necessarily the same as being injured on the field, you can definitely equate failure in the market as a big loss, because when you take a risk, you know, on something new, something that you've not previously explored in your own practice or have set a precedent for, the market doesn't always respond kindly, and that can feel like a tremendous loss, and it can make you feel like your worth is staked primarily in what you sell. The cat is sort of this symbol for a curious and mischievous kind of entity that kind of ends up in all these kind of weird predicaments, and I very much identify with that. Having gone through several kind of different difficult experiences with my work, I feel like I've got 9 lives, and it always feels like there's more and more on the line, and like I'm free falling.